26101006 from 1 right, cleared for takeoff.
1 right, good to go, yeah, 25.
Cleared 4461, 1 right, line up away.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of FlightCast, the Infinite Flight podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rosewell, and over there is Joe. Say hi, Joe.
Hello.
You know, I say this every time, but if you haven't figured it out by now, this is a little show about a mobile flight simulator called Infinite Flight. And listen, it's not lost on me that a podcast about a flight simulator is extremely nerdy, but, you know, you're the one listening to a podcast about a flight simulator. So, Joe, if someone doesn't have Infinite Flight on their phone or tablet, what do? Where can they get it?
Well, Jason, they can head over to the App Store for their Apple device or Google Play for Android and search for Infinite Flight.
That was beautiful.
Hey, let me stop right here, Jason. I keep recording, though.
Okay.
I think it's important for all of us to know who you are. You're the one that is putting on this podcast every 2 weeks for us, and I think it's time that the whole community find out a little bit more about the guy behind the microphone, the big microphone, that is.
Okay.
I know we've got some serious business that we would like to address later, but also joining us today is Mr. Mark Denton. And Mark, before we get started, we just learned something pretty interesting about you in the controllers chat. JP is your supervisor. When did this happen?
Who's my supervisor?
What?
Who's my supervisor?
JP, I believe it was said.
Oh, I didn't know Tyler changed his initials.
Oh, okay.
Okay, for the record, I just want to go on as saying that I have no idea what's happening here. It seems like there's a bit of a reverse interview situation happening.
Maybe.
Ish.
All right,
ish.
I'm just gonna roll with it.
The biggest thing is that Joe and I, you do so much, Jay. Sorry, I almost threw up in my mouth there. You do so much for our community, and we just want the community to know who you are.
Y'all are making me blush over here.
Is it blushing, or is it because it's so cold there?
That could be true. It's November 24th, and last week I could have gone for a run. It was beautiful, and this week we have 6 inches of snow. That's what I get for living in Canada.
Yes.
Oh, well.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, exactly. Well, Mark, you want to get us started?
Yeah.
This is exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It should be. It's great. It's going to be fantastic.
I don't know what's going on. Let's do it. I'm ready. Oh, by
Okay.
the way, guys, before you guys hijack my podcast, we should probably point out that this was supposed to be an interview with Jay from the creator of IFFG, which is Infinite Flight Fan Group on Facebook. Jay's come down with a wicked cold, and he said he'd be just hacking up a lung into the microphone the whole time and really feeling under the weather. So I've given him a pass, and I said I had invited Joe to come along and co-host with me on this one, mainly just because, I felt bad for him.
You've been begging me to co-host, and I thought, Matt and Philippe just wasn't the one that I wanted to be the first co-host on. I thought Jay was going to be the good one, but
okay. Well, whatever way you want to interpret
in.
That, Joe is going to join me, and that it kind of fell through, and we're going to have Jay back on as soon as possible, maybe next episode. We'll keep you in the loop on that. Thank you for all your questions that you guys have submitted on Facebook. They're completely irrelevant this week, and we're just going to do, I don't know, something. So take it away, Mark.
Well, it's not that they're irrelevant. It's just...
We've postponed them.
Correct. Yeah, they'll be more applicable when Jay isn't sick. So
we could go ahead and answer a few of them, the three of us.
Yeah, I mean, we could always speculate and say what...
I can't promise they'll be accurate, but... all right, Mark, it sounds like the microphone's yours, so why don't you go for it?
Well, Joe and I have talked, and one thing that we were curious about, as well as I'm sure as other members of our community, is what inspired you to start up FlightCast?
Wow, I'm completely unprepared. This is exciting.
That's what makes this so much
That's what makes it so fun.
I provide all of my guests with a run sheet so they know what to expect, and now I'm being interviewed and I don't have a run sheet. But, all right, so what inspired me to start? You know, I'm a fan of podcasts, first of all, and I have a note actually to mention one of them later on in this episode. But I joined the first group, I guess, on Facebook that I joined was.
Is this going to take long?
Hey, we might not need to use any fillers for this interview.
Let me back up a little further, if that's.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So the next question: do you ever plan on getting your pilot's license?
Which question do you want me to answer?
Let's go with the first one.
This is my show, so I'm going to answer the first question. I started out in a little group called IFWP Alaska, actually. And so I didn't really even know about IFFG at the start, other than I saw a whole lot of events happening that had to do with it. So started out before Live came along. And then after Live was launched, then we started flying together. And eventually I joined IFFG. And I don't know what the timeline is because, again, I'm not prepared here. But then I realized, wow, there's a massive number of people that are wanting to just kind of be a part of this culture. And I think that's kind of what it's become. It's become not less of a flight simulator. It of course, is a flight simulator, but it's I think even the development of the app is being geared towards this being more of a community thing than anything else. So it was obvious that a lot of people wanted to talk about it, and so I chatted with Tyler and asked him if he'd let me interview him, and he said yes, and that was it.
Is it just me, or does Tyler's name end up in every freaking podcast that we do?
It's definitely been in every episode.
Dear Lord.
He's the boss.
What about, I know you fly a lot, or attempt to fly a lot on Infinite Flight, but have you ever thought about getting your pilot's license in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that, first of all, one does not go out and get a pilot's license when they're married unless their spouse is on board. So let me just say that right out of the gate. My wife is completely behind my flying obsession, and she even got me, I think it was for possibly a birthday present, she went out and got a few of the manuals she knew that I would need by talking to a few people that know up here in Canada. So I've got a few of the manuals, I've read through some of it. I've got a lot of...
That's an exciting birthday present.
It was. Not exciting for anybody else, but definitely exciting for me.
Baby, happy birthday. Here's some bathroom reading material.
Exactly. She knows my heart. But anyway, I would say it's in my 5-year plan. I'm really excited. I don't know exactly when yet, but time and money are always
5
issues.
years.
Well, within 5 years, I hope.
Yes.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a 5-year plan.
If there's anything I can do to help you along and answer any questions regarding your pilot's license, let me know, and I will certainly find someone who will actually care to help.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I'm here for you.
Love it. I do have a little bit of flying experience. That's not part of the question, but yeah, 5-year plan.
The flying experience, is that the one in front of the store that you put your little quarter in and it kind of lifts up a little bit?
Yeah, we have a space shuttle one of those in our mall. So I head over there once in a while.
You're just going to skip everything and just be the astronaut.
I have people giving me really funny looks at least twice a week at the mall.
Okay. Well, Joe, do you want to go with one of your questions?
Yeah, we can do that. What is the process for doing your FlightCast? How much time planning, editing, start to finish? How much time do you actually put into this every 2 weeks?
I would say that each podcast is a little bit different in terms of prep because sometimes we've got one guest and sometimes I've got, 5.
And sometimes you have a surprise guest.
And sometimes I've got Mark just appearing out of nowhere. Mark already took up like 50 minutes of my day this morning on the phone. So this is just Mark, like I said before, you're just a blessing.
Mark will do that.
Yeah. No, it's all good. As my wife will sometimes ask, are you talking to your flying boyfriends?
It's funny you say that because Stephen Wilson's wife, she always tells him that she is cheating on him with his infinite flight, which is typically it's me. He calls me the other day and he's like, I've got some time. I told Betsy I was going to be on the phone for a little while. And I just
so you're Jake from State Farm.
Yes. And I'm not wearing khakis.
Oh, man. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, the planning.
Yes.
That's going to happen a lot. I got to get my bleep button ready, too. Mark's already used it once. But, yeah, so it really depends on how many guests I've got on and what the content is. Like, we had, obviously, Matt and Philippe, the developers for Infinite Flight, on 2 weeks ago, last episode. And
how nervous were you for that one?
I was nervous for my first interview with Tyler because I didn't know what I was doing, and then I was nervous for the one with Matt and Philippe only because first of all I've never met those guys. I've talked to them via email and Slack and all that, but I wanted to do a good job. It was the one that everybody was waiting for and wanting since day one, so I wanted to build up a little bit of anticipation, which I think we did, and then I just wanted to get it right, and I think we did an okay job. But
that's great. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wow. So anyway,
have you? Yeah, I was going to say, have you even answered how much time goes into this yet?
No, if you just let me finish, then I think Joe asked another question inside the question, which is what I was answering. So if I could just get back to it, probably a couple hours of prep easily, and then my editing takes anywhere from the editing. Matt and Philippe's episode was easy because they were so serious about everything and wanted to do a good job answering questions and not acting like fools like the rest of you.
So pretty much the exact opposite of this.
Exactly. This one will take me probably 5 hours to edit, and I have to launch it tonight at midnight. So,
Nice.
Probably I don't know, somewhere between 4 and 5 hours.
It's not bad.
Wow.
Not too bad.
No, that's not bad. That's actually better than what I thought it was.
Yeah, it took definitely longer at the start.
Is this the first podcast you've ever done?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, thanks for the elaborate answer on that one.
Yeah, I know. I was expecting this really long aspiration speech of doing a podcast. And yes.
My motto is always why you. So it's similar to Joshua Smythley's motto, I think, and that is why use 10 words when you can use 100. And
are we talking about the same Joshua?
100 is being generous.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, if you don't know, Josh is the co-creator of IF Journal, the Infinite Flight newsletter, and I haven't given them a shout out yet. I wanted to get them a few episodes or I guess editions under their belt. So you can check them out on Facebook and Twitter. They're doing a great job at that.
Make sure you have your dictionary and thesaurus ready.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And please, whatever you do, while you're reading the Infinite Flight Journal, find as many grammatical errors as you can and submit them to Josh and Tish.
They love it.
They can't
when we
wait.
do that.
They cannot wait to hear them.
Yes. They love it.
So I think this is great, though, that this is your first run at like what Joe had asked you. This being your first, a podcast, but your first one is also your first professional, and we do put in our brackets professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the
podcast.
sarcasm brackets? Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
It's so well done.
Yes. Very, very well done, organized, as you can see today.
Thank you, gentlemen. Today is a great example of that. Hey, Jay, who's your backup plan? I don't know. Well, you're recording it tomorrow. Yeah.
Hey, it worked out though.
I'm happy. This is great. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, Mark.
So-
Now we're going to get into some of the more serious questions, and believe it or not, we do have listener questions as well.
No.
We did do our
Yeah.
homework.
No way.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, we did.
We've been planning this for
Months.
a couple hours? A couple months. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So when we spoke earlier, Jay, I was aware of what was going to happen. So,
You sneaky snakes.
we've known each other for a little while now, and you've told me mentioned several times, how much you miss the South whenever you hear me talk.
Yeah.
If you love the South so much, then I'm curious, what made you decide to go back to Canada? I mean, were you deported?
No, fortunately, I wasn't deported because I still get to visit. What about me would suggest that I was deported? I'm a pacifist, for goodness sakes. Maybe that's why they don't want me.
We'll get to that later too.
Yeah,
great.
Don't get it. Don't put the cart before the horse here, Jay.
Yes.
Okay,
We have an order to this, Jay.
All right.
Yes.
What made me leave? Well, so as you know, I was a touring musician for a living. So my band life brought me to Valparaiso, Indiana, which was, for those who don't know how to use Google Maps, it's in the northwest corner of Indiana, technically in the Chicago area. So I could get downtown Chicago in about an hour. And I was there for almost 4 years, and then it was just life, I had my first kid, my son Aiden, and it was just one of those things where I loved being on the road, but I hated being on the road because that meant I was away from my family, and it just got to be too much eventually. So it just felt like time. So moved home, back to Canada, did the commute thing for a while. So whenever my band went out for a run of shows, I'd go down. It was about a 10-hour drive, and that's it. Eventually that was too much, so I switched gears.
Oh, we're done. That's it. Okay. That's great. That's great. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm excited. Joe, you got anything?
Yeah. So in the Canadian version of Infinite Flight, do the planes still crash, or does a message pop up just saying you've done a controlled emergency landing?
If a message pops up and says, "Well, you gave that one a good whirl. Why don't you try it again?"
Okay. All right. Good.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Would you like to play again?
It says, "I'm sorry."
Good. Good.
Yeah, no, it still says crash, and we get this epic crash noise.
Okay. All right.
Now, what region would you like to have on IF?
Oh man, I'm 3 hours from just 2.5 hours from Toronto, so I'd love to see the Toronto region. I've done a little bit of plane spotting at Pearson International, and that would be really, really awesome because I think any Canadian would either want to see Toronto or Vancouver on there.
So basically, you would like to be flying with an all-white screen. I mean, if you...
When they get real weather, yes, because sometimes on a really cold winter, Toronto's on Lake Ontario, and Lake Ontario has been known to freeze over. So it would literally just be a white map.
I think what would be great before the Infinite Flight developers actually put Canada as a region, that they actually implement the ability to have your aircraft de-iced. I think that's got to be...
Ooh, I like that.
A requirement that as you hold short, you're on the de-icing pad to be de-iced before you can take off.
Or, you know what, let's take that even further, and let's say you have the ability to put your 172 on floats or skis.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Which actually I'm all
for.
There was
I'm all for making it amphibious.
Yeah, man. And then no pressure to Matt and Philippe and the rest of the guys, but we'd love to see that happen. Now that we come up, see, we're part of this team that just thinks up awesome ideas, and we toss it out to the developers, and we expect immediate implementation. So if we could get amphibious capabilities, that would be really, really great. So thanks in advance.
That actually is probably a great segue into my next question.
Oh, let's have it.
How much did you have to pay the developers to get 2 different Canadian liveries with the A319?
You know, I was just as shocked to see the Rouge livery as you were shocked to not see your favorite, Mark. I'll just give a little shout out to my buddy Devon, who flies the 319 for Air Canada Rouge, and which I've been on a couple of times. I was told that it wasn't happening, so I was just as surprised as you. I didn't pay anything.
And I got to say, that livery is probably one of my favorites of the 319.
It's a beauty. And actually, the Rouge livery is the old paint job. They actually have a new one where the word Rouge is larger, and it's over top of the windows.
So they're really proud of having Rouge on the side of their plane.
I guess so. It's a nice airline. But the funny thing about Rouge, here's a little real life tidbit, is they have the plane that I was on had green. It looked like green electrical tape all the way down the trailing edge of the wing, and then on the winglets as well, and along the leading edge of the wing. And so I asked Devin, what's with this airplane? Are they going to paint it or what? He said, no, believe it or not, that's so that ground crew doesn't run into the airplane while they're moving about the tarmac.
Yep. It's
cool. Have you seen that, Mark?
You'd be surprised. Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised at how much or how many times ground crew just aren't paying attention. I mean, doing that for 15 years with Northwest Airlines, just to throw that out there, and I do think that Northwest 319 would be a great addition. Anyway, there are procedures in approaching an aircraft with a back cart and a tug. There are actually traffic patterns, if you will, to approach the aircraft. And so many times they get in a rush and they just don't do it. They're just not paying attention, and they're hitting engine cowlings. They're hitting the leading edge of the wing where you were talking about the green tape and all that. And that is a de-icing boot on the leading edge. And so if that gets damaged, it's kind of hard to break the ice apart if the wings ice up.
Right.
So, yeah.
So how many aircraft did you hit, Mark?
I never hit any aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
I can honestly say I've never hit any aircraft out of 15 years. Now,
you've got to have a good story about working on the ground at some point, though.
Oh, I have plenty of good stories. And, I'll tell you this. One time, we had a plane. It was a DC-9 going to Memphis. And it was great. I was the flight lead. And we had the plane loaded, and I sent my guys back to the bag room to make sure there was not any last-minute bags or anything. So while he was gone, we had a few minutes. So I hopped up in the front cargo bin, fluffed up a couple garment bags, and just kind of laid there. I'd been working about 12 hours that day.
So you were a fluffer on that flight?
Yeah, I fluffed up the garment bags. Awesome. And next thing you know, I was out. It's in the middle of the summer. I was exhausted. And next thing you hear is the cargo door being shut.
Awesome.
While I'm in the bin. And, so I'm sitting there beating on the door. Of course, nobody can hear me because they've got the APU running. Luckily, somebody had a carry-on bag that they had to throw on at last minute, and they opened up the door. Now, they wouldn't have been able to push the aircraft back without me because I was the one that was going to be pushing the plane back.
Oh, I thought you meant they wouldn't have been able to push back if you were in the cargo on the airplane.
We've all seen pictures of that, right?
Yeah. Y'all seen the pictures.
Mommy, why is that airplane doing a Papa Wheelie? I think it's supposed to be doing that, honey.
That's why I got into bin 1, which is in the front, which is the pressurized bin.
There you go.
If you're going to take a nap in an aircraft, make sure it's in the pressurized bin.
Good tip.
Yeah. Now, it will be cold at cruising altitude, but your survivability rate is a lot higher
Is that the same
than
bin
if
that
you were in
they
a
put?
non-pressurized.
Is that the same bin they put, Fluffy in, or whatever pet happens to be traveling?
Right. They put them in the front bin that's going to be pressurized. So, they opened up the door, and there I was, of course, scared the ramp agent half to death when he saw me sitting there. And I was just sitting there in style back when I used to consider in style, and just looking at him. Got out, closed the door, pushed the plane back, and sent him on the way. So, yeah. So make sure you fall asleep if you're going to in the pressurized bin.
That's not really politically correct anymore, Mark. We now call it crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross apple. Yeah, I'm over 40, so I won't say that. But you children can say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But the Canadian, what is it? The Rouge. That's probably one of my favorite liveries of the 319.
Yeah, they would call that
Air
Canada's discount carrier, I guess, or discount branch, whatever it is. I don't think it's that much of a discount, but
They're low fare carrier.
they're low fare carrier. That's the way to say it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. When I got back from Jamaica from my honeymoon, we flew Rouge, and when I got back, Devin asked if I enjoyed being rouged. Like,
Nah.
I don't know how to answer that. I enjoyed my flight, but yeah. So no, I didn't pay anybody to have so many Air Canada liveries in this flight simulator, but it's lovely.
Yeah, why we need two, I have no idea.
Who cares?
I mean, you can only fly one at a time anyway.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Joe, what about you? You got anything?
Yeah, I guess we'll go back to the Canadian version of IF. Do you still have the option to ghost somebody, or is it just a conflict resolution option that pops up? Like, let's go here to mediate and talk about it.
No, I can still ghost, but I usually start with I usually issue an "I'm sorry" command. I guess you'd say. And then I ghost. So I'm sorry to have to do this to you, man, but you just taking off on the opposite runway is not acceptable. Again, I'm really sorry, but poof. Introduce them to
I
Casper.
apologize that you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
So,
It is my fault for not telling you,
true.
but
Yeah.
What I love about being in Canada, and this applies in the South too, because Southern hospitality is real, and that's one of the reasons I did love touring through the South. But in Canada, I had this. I was in the grocery store the other day, and it came around a corner and kind of bumped into somebody, and we're both apologizing. It's usually things are clearly one person's fault or the other, but it's just that's the immediate response. Oh, I'm sorry. Whereas I have to say I'm sorry to my Hoosier friends, but it just was not the case in Indiana. I did love living there. The one thing I miss the most, other than my friends, is the food, because I in my town up here, I can't get Mexican food.
you can't get deep fried butter in Canada.
I can't get deep fried butter. I mean, you guys deep fry everything. It just doesn't happen up here, and I can't. My wife and I have learned how to make our own Mexican food, Indian food, Thai food, because it's just not going to happen.
There's really no Mexican food up there.
No, not in my town. I mean, I can drive for an hour and go to a place called Mucho Burrito. Oh, I should probably.
Well, that makes sense
bleep
though,
that out.
because here when they put the plate down, they're like, be careful, it's hot plate. They can't say hot plate in Canada because it's never going to be hot.
Mark, your comment about getting some ice off the tree could actually apply today. I think the last time you made that, it was in maybe September, and it didn't really apply yet, but it does now. Anyway.
That's funny.
Yes, I can still ghost people.
Good.
Good.
And I do, so watch it.
Oh, so now that's a threat?
See? You guys have a really negative impact on me, but I think it balances me out a little bit.
Yeah, way to go, Ian. Good call there, buddy.
Yeah.
Ian? Who's Ian?
Threatening ghost. I mean, what's gonna happen? Put your shirt back on, please.
Ian, put
Yeah,
your shirt
thank
on,
you.
for goodness sakes.
No doubt.
Well,
We
you
want
know,
to get to what? Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, you know, we had mentioned, well, of course, Jason mentioned Tyler because his name has got to be brought up every time. You know, he actually had a couple of good questions. What aspect of Infinite Flight keeps you coming back?
That's an interesting question, and one that my wife has asked me multiple times.
Oh, yours too?
Yeah, she sees me flying, and she's like, so, and God bless her, she's a beautiful person and very sensitive, but she's like, so, what is it that kind of keeps you interested in flying on that thing? You know, which is a valid question because obviously I'm not flying a real airplane, and you don't feel the same sensations. But what keeps me coming back, I think, is partly the obviously I've made a lot of friends on Infinite Flight, and so the social aspect of the sim is definitely part of it. Now, having said that, we've got one person in our beta testing group who just left for that exact reason, because he said it was a little too social for him and he wanted to get back to just flying and flight simming. So, but that part is definitely appealing for me. And then, I don't know, it's always changing. So it's always improving. There's always something to look forward to. And I like to challenge myself especially with live weather. No two landings are the same. And, yeah, there's lots of aircraft to try and master. And if you ever feel like you're doing a really good job, you just go ahead and hop in the Spitfire in some windy conditions, and you'll realize you're not doing a good job.
And then Mark will be there to tell you how good of a job you're not doing.
Exactly, Mr. I can float a 172 from one runway threshold to the other.
That's my vertical takeoff and landing.
That was
Don't hate.
That was probably one of the things that made me laugh the hardest in my Infinite Flight journey. Only second to, I think it was the three of us and Tyler who were talking about the FlightCast Christmas special one night.
Oh, gosh. Yes, I remember that.
I was by myself and crying. I was laughing so hard. And so
I'll tell you what, Tyler can come up with some good ones. Give him.
Tyler's a serious dude, but then all of a sudden he just comes out of left field with a zinger that makes you cry.
He just come in, throw haymakers.
Exactly. He saves them all up.
He does.
That's right.
He does.
Yeah, that was our "Twas the Night Before Christmas" on Infinite Flight.
Exactly.
Yep. Do y'all still have all the words to that? Or was all that archived? I can't remember.
Unfortunately, I don't know how much of that's going to be able to be told.
I don't think we'd be able to tell very much of it, and it's probably archived by now.
Twas the night before Christmas on Infinite Flight. Beep.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
If you could add one feature, this is again from Tyler, to Infinite Flight, what would it be?
Ooh, one feature.
Just pick one thing.
Great. That's great. Good stuff. Good stuff.
This is going to be a theme for the rest of the episode. One feature. I'll say what I don't want first because I'm having.
Well, that wasn't the question.
Well,
that's not the question.
We can make that a question.
And yet I'm going to say it anyway. I don't want 3D buildings. Again, we've said it before, and some do, and that's great, and you guys might. I'm not interested in 3D buildings because really it has no impact on me flying, other than dodging buildings, I guess. But
I was going to say, because after seeing you land and running off the runway, I wouldn't want the 3D buildings either.
Oh, man, so many things I could say to that. I don't want 3D buildings. I don't think it's important at all. I would love to see the effects of aircraft on other aircraft and on the weather and things like that. So I'd love to see things like wake turbulence and wingtip vortices come into play, as well as so that would involve landing smoke as well. So landing smoke, wingtip vortices, and then wake turbulence. I think that'd be a really cool thing to add. Again, some people might say, no, that's ridiculous. We don't need to complicate things like that, and wake turbulence would just cause more crashes and annoyances. But I don't know.
Well, wake turbulence is already on infinite flight.
When you're flying, I guess it is.
Well, yeah, but that's my son. I mean, if I'm Skyhawk Heavy, naturally, my son is going to be wake turbulent.
Does he fly on infinite flight?
He flies on solo. I've seen him fly. I've tried to teach him. I'm not about to get him a live subscription yet.
Yeah, my 8-year-old's
Maybe
done
when
a
he's
little bit of
18.
flying. And he's actually pretty good. But again, not ready for the live subscription yet. But he's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting there slowly but surely.
Just let me know what your son's screen name is when he joins live, and I'll be sure to ghost him every time I see him.
He'll apologize first, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, wake turbulence.
Yeah.
Poof.
Sorry,
I know your
dad's
I know your father. Yeah. Don't take this personal. This is in relation to your father.
Yes.
Guilty by association.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'd like to see. How about you guys?
Well,
let me ask a question. What do you guys want to see? I don't think I've
No,
asked
that's not part of
Okay, I
this
apologize.
podcast.
I'm
so,
sorry.
Yeah. Now, do you have any plans of meeting other members of Infinite Flight?
Yes. I think that what I said in the intro about this being something really nerdy is another part of that is just, a meetup. And I'd love to see that happen. In fact, a few of us have talked about doing that. So, yeah, I'd love to. I don't expect everyone to come up to where I am. So I suspect there'll be a trip to America.
Yeah, that's very good.
Hey, I will
You'd be
say,
very disappointed.
Yeah.
It would be high school all over again.
when I ouch, when I will say though, I toured around America and it's a beautiful country, and when I had to leave, when you grow up in a small town, it's just you just got to get out of there, and I did that. I came back with a kind of a new appreciation. The area that I live in is gorgeous, and there's a bay off of Lake Huron called Georgian Bay, which I live on, and so there's we go boating all the time in the summer. It's gorgeous and hot. We have a float plane tour place here in my town that I've done some flying with and some work for, so I get some flying credits once in a while. So yeah, it's a beautiful area, and I'd love to have you guys up here sometime in the summer. But I wouldn't expect you to come up here in the winter. That'd be just mean and un-Canadian.
That's un-Canadian. That's funny.
Yeah, Tyler had one last question, honestly. How has meeting Tyler changed your life?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to answer that seriously?
Might be my favorite answer.
What's awesome is I think that by me meeting Tyler, it's changed Tyler's life. If you want to look at it in a different light, since we've met, Tyler has now purchased his first Mac, and he's joined the cult of Mac, which is I'll take credit for that, and I'm proud of it.
I will join you in co-credit with that.
I don't accept
much.
that. No.
Whether you accept it or not.
So Tyler, I hope you're enjoying your new iMac. It's a beast.
His 27-inch screen iMac.
Yeah, my 27-inch screen iMac is sitting on the floor beside me because it's got old and tired and it died. But it was
time for a new one.
It was a beauty. Anyway,
but yeah,
we digress.
That was his serious question of all his questions, was how has meeting him changed your life?
I don't believe that at all. I think you guys threw that in there.
No, that's actually
that's actually from him.
Well, we've certainly talked a lot about him in this episode somehow again. Did anyone other than Tyler ask any questions?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
we're gonna get to them.
I've got one from Tristan.
Ooh.
He wants to know if you are Max Mustang on the forum.
Oh man, I should have known this question was coming. You know, maybe if I've got what do they call it now? It's not split personality disorder anymore. It's dissociative personality disorder, I think.
I thought it was schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. Either one. I'd be Max Mustang, but you guys know that. Listen, Max and I have had our share of shenanigans on the forum, both public and private, and we do not see eye to eye on really anything, I think. Mostly because I think, from what Max has said, he's retired. Now, I got to get this right, because if you select the wrong type of military group and call somebody by the wrong one, it's extremely offensive to them. So I think he was in the army.
You'll know retired military.
Retired military.
You'll know if you get it wrong.
Yeah, I think he was in the army, and you guys know from talking to me that that's joining the army is just not something I would do. I have a serious.
I don't know if it's anything you could do.
Well, I could join mine. There is one.
Aren't the 10 slots already filled?
We have a jet. We have a jet and a couple of helicopters.
A few horses,
but all
right?
of all of the Army's guns in Canada, don't they have the orange tip at the end of the barrel?
Oh gosh! Let's give a serious shout out to all of the brave men and women in both the Canadian and the U.S. military. It's not obviously something any of us are brave enough to do.
Absolutely
so we're proud of you guys and thankful for you.
Jay tells everybody, I would gladly take a Nerf bullet for you.
I would, and I've taken many a Nerf bullet from my two sons.
I will say though that I've seen some videos of Canadian pilots, and they are wonderful pilots. They do fly extremely well.
Would you believe you guys have the is it the Bluebirds? No.
No.
What is it?
Y'all have the Snowbirds.
We have the Snowbirds. What is it you guys have? Blue Angels?
Yes.
Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, so that's right, you've got two. So I've seen the Snowbirds when I was younger. I saw the Snowbirds. Amazing. Slightly terrifying because once in a while there's the odd mishap with these groups, but exhilarating to watch, as you guys know.
Oh yeah.
But to answer Tristan's question, no, sadly I cannot take ownership for that. I know he wants it to be true desperately, but I'm not Max Sens.
Okay.
That's okay. He won't remember asking.
Am I allowed to leave that in there?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Tristan knows we all love him.
He'll be mad until tomorrow.
Yeah, he'll be mad until tomorrow.
Good golly.
That is hilarious. I think actually Max Mustang though I think he's a 172 pilot if I'm not mistaken. So I got to give him props for that.
It sounds like it. Is he the one that he's always talking about trash haulers being commercial airplanes? Calls them trash haulers all the time.
Yes,
Is that him? Okay.
Yeah.
That is him.
But you know what? I think he's turned a corner recently, and I'm sorry, Max, if it bothers you that we're talking about you, but you've created this huge persona on the forums, and so it's happening. But
he did give me a compliment one time about the way I was explaining something.
Recently,
I will say that I think I agree with you, Jason. I think everybody's learning how to work together for a common goal.
Yeah, I think so. And he's issued a few compliments that have surprised me recently, and I've had to learn too how to take things with a grain of salt and realize that everybody communicates differently, and the forum's a busy place these days, so you've got to take some things with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's gotten extremely busy, and the larger the community gets, the busier it gets. So
yeah, lots happened in the lots happened in the 45 days since you last checked it, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I've got all the notifications. I need to get on there and check.
You're about to have your purple tag removed.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a good chance actually for us to just take a quick break for a message from Cam. We'll be right back. Hey Cam, you know what would be great?
What's that, Jason?
If there was an app I could use along with Infinite Flight. something I could use to track and share my flights, or check out where the action is before starting some ATC work.
Well, I actually happen to create something that does all of that.
Really?
Really. Head over to liveflightapp.com, where you can track flights in Infinite Flight live in real time, view stats about your flight, and learn more about pilots and controllers around you.
Cam, I have a confession to make. I knew all of that. I was just testing you.
Well, anytime you'd like me to come by for another test, just let me know.
Thanks, Cam. In the meantime, everybody, why don't you head over to liveflightapp.com for your next flight. Now back to the podcast. Okay, we're back.
That was so natural and unrehearsed.
Thank you.
That was.
It was unrehearsed.
It's like Cam was here with us.
I know. I was really kind of in shock. I was fixing to say something to him, but
He's gone now.
all of a sudden he's gone. Yeah.
He's too good to talk to us.
I know. But what else you got, Jeff?
Well, I think you've got something from Melvin here, don't you?
Oh yeah, from Melvin.
Yes.
And this is actually a really good question, Jason. Melvin wanted to know if you knew that you were recently banned from IFFG.
Oh. No, that's news to me. You know what?
And that's exactly the way he thought you would reply, too. The slight pause, and you hear the little fingers clicking on the keyboard as he tries to pull up IFFG.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Go leave us a good review and donate some money. Happy landings.
That is hilarious.
That's good.
Thanks, Melvin.
That's good.
I expect a friends and family discount. I got a flight to take soon.
Our next question is going to come from Matt, who wants to know what your top 3 favorite things about Infinite Flight are. Obviously, besides Tyler, myself, and Mark.
Matt, who?
Matt.
Like the Matt?
Like the Matt.
Oh my gosh! Now you got me all nervous again.
So not only have you been banned from IFFG, but it sounds like you're fixing to get banned from Infinite Flight.
Why? I was just checking actually. Why is my XP at -10? Doesn't bode well for me. I
did ask Matt to do that once, and he told me he couldn't reduce it, unfortunately. We were going to do that to you, but it couldn't happen.
Are you crazy? He's in charge of the database. Of course he could do it.
Well, then he lied.
All right. Well, yeah, I love you guys too. My top 3 favorite things about Infinite Flight. Man, I love that we can. Well, and I've talked about this a little bit briefly with. Who was it that I was talking? Oh, with David. When I had David on, we were talking about just. I love that I can taxi up to a runway. And by the way, the runway numbers and everything, love it. I can taxi up to a runway.
Very much needed.
Exactly. I can hold short, and I can literally just watch out the cockpit window somebody, who's on their short final, landing in front of me, and then just having an air traffic controller waiting to tell me, go ahead and line up and wait, and then cleared for takeoff. I love the live aspect of it and the air traffic controlling. I just think it takes the realism up to a new level, and for me, that's better than if I were flying without any ATC and more realism, like on FSX or something like that. So live ATC definitely number 1. Number 2,
and we know it. We know you fly on Infinite Flight more than the others. So go ahead.
Yes. Number 2, it's making me famous, obviously. So that's a huge bonus. More famous than when I was a drummer. And then 3.
Us drummers just never get the credit we deserve.
No, and that's why I'm playing guitar these days. Because have you guys seen that infographic? If the singer gets the multiple ladies or friends, as it were, and then the guitar player has a couple of groupies, and then the bass player has like one, and the drummer has one, and then the keyboard player has like a couple of cats. It's great. So I feel like I'm
I didn't know Brian Gainey played the keyboard. That is great.
How can we
We've
insert...
got our Infinite Flight band coming up.
Well, we've already got Ian writing songs for us, right? He's writing the theme song.
Yeah, Ian's writing the songs. And,
I haven't heard it yet,
we've
but
got
apparently it's happening.
Jason will be playing the guitar. I'll be playing the drums. Tyler, we'll try to figure out how to put some brass into it, so we'll let him play his trombone. Joe in Kentucky, y'all still play the spoons, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
I think Joe plays the
Yeah.
flute, he told me once.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Only at band camp.
Only at this one time at band camp.
What was the question? I don't even remember. Oh, top 3 things. Yeah, I don't know. Did I say a third? No.
I think you only got to the first one.
I quit listening.
I did too.
I'm sorry, Matt. What a joke.
Yeah. No, I think you only did one.
Live ATC. Yeah. Next question.
I knew I should have had my Jeopardy theme song queued up.
I could put it in when we edit.
Yep, there you go.
There you go.
Although I don't know if I'm breaking any licenses or anything with that.
It's on YouTube.
Maybe
How are
I'll-
you breaking any
maybe I'll just whistle it.
licenses?
Trust me, not enough people listen to that make that be an issue.
I'll fire up my guitar
Yeah.
rig and I'll play it.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? The community and just being able to be such a huge part of the community is probably my third. I'm pretty sure I said a second, although right now I don't remember what it was. But
It was watching. Yeah, we got it.
watching Joshua land is actually probably up at number 1.
Try. Keyword try.
Okay,
Try.
like
Yes.
guys, this isn't a joke either. That boy either lands on autopilot or
That he still messes up.
he's doing
How do you mess up an auto land?
or he's doing like donuts through the grass and into the ocean. Like this is no joke.
No, it's
I
not.
don't even know how it's possible,
No,
to be honest.
it's not. He basically tries to land and then somehow drifts to the gate.
We were flying not too long ago in Hawaii. I just went on our off-topic chat on Slack, which for listeners who don't know, we use a communication app for the advanced air traffic controllers, just so we can say, hey, who's controlling where, and kind of organize things a little bit. And we have an off-topic chat, and I said, hey guys, real quick, spur of the moment, who wants to fly? Head over to such and such an airport in Hawaii. Let's do it. So a whole bunch of guys show up, and at the end we want to take a picture, a little photo op. And Joshua was like, hold on guys, I'm coming. And he's literally back taxiing from one end of the field to the other so that he can join us in our photo. And I think someone just got impatient, took the photo, and you can see Joshua backwards on his way to where we are, and he's like crossing the runway. Unbelievable.
I'm wondering if when he lands, if he somehow hits the pushback button on the third screen instead of reverse thrust.
I hope so.
There's got to be something between him and Tristan trying to land. Tristan logs 3 touch and goes with each pass as he bounces.
The bounce
down
and
the
go.
runway.
Bounce and go.
It's the bounce and
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
The bounce and go.
Yeah.
I've tried to do
But-
the nose gear landing wheelie or reverse wheelie down the runway, but I haven't been able to manage it so far.
To try to endo down the runway?
Yeah, Mark, that's your next project.
Challenge accepted?
Yes, but you can't do it in the Skyhawk. You've got to do it in like a 320 or a 737.
Okay.
Yes, I can't
No
wait.
problem.
Awesome.
No
Boom.
problem.
I'm pumped. Next question.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Now, I don't know if this is different in Canada than it is here in the United States, but
Probably.
in Canada, How much wood could a Canadian woodchuck chuck if a Canadian woodchuck could chuck wood?
I mean, that's just
What
such a
in the
ridiculous
world?
question. I don't know.
I was just out of questions. I was just trying to ad lib, and apparently I'm not that good at it.
I'm putting that one at the end, Mark. I can't even include it in the rest of the podcast. Goodness sakes! If I'm gonna,
God.
if you want me to, next time
That
Joe
is
says,
something-
"Hey, listen, just go with it," you've got to add Mark to the Skype chat. I'm gonna be like, he's gonna talk
You have
about
ruined
woodchucks
this
and stuff.
forever with that question, Mark.
Which was not meant to be serious.
I award you
The,
no points.
I award you no points.
My
We
God,
are
have
now
mercy.
You have
all
made us
super
all
nerds.
dumber. Yeah.
We'll have listening to this question.
Oh man, you know what? Actually, guys, if it's okay, I did prepare a little bit for this podcast. So before we get completely out of time, do you guys mind if I just mention a couple of things?
Well, one last question
Okay.
that I just now thought of
Sure.
that is actually infinite flight related.
Oh,
And
imagine.
which do you prefer? Do you enjoy controlling more or flying more?
Oh, I think it depends on what's going on. If I think I'd enjoy controlling more at times, but it's a pretty. I want it to be a time commitment. I don't want to just hop on for a little while and accumulate a lot of people at a field and then just leave because life is busy and stuff. So in that respect, if the question was, what do you do more of? It's probably fly, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's an indication of what I enjoy doing more. I think I just like doing a mix. But I do like to dedicate a good chunk of time if I'm going to control, because, there's nothing worse than someone saying, hey, such and such a region is open, and then you plan on doing some flying there and they're gone. So,
As soon as you spawn.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just curious because I know you do some of both, so I didn't know which one you enjoy doing the most.
Yeah, I like to not be distracted, especially if I'm jumping on an approach frequency or departure or something, because, I want to give good vectors, and you can't be distracted doing other things while you're doing that. At least I can't. I can't multitask.
You must have been distracted every time you've worked approach when I was flying.
There it is. Love it. So listen,
Joe, you got anything else?
Joe, we do have a little bit of an announcement though.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And a lot of
Long
people.
awaited
This is
and much
exciting.
anticipated.
This is exciting. So a lot of people are always asking about landing smoke and taxiway lighting, and we've already touched on the landing smoke thing a little bit today. I would just like to announce. Well, the three of us would like to announce that. You guys ready for this?
I'm pumped. I'm excited, man.
We have zero information in terms of whether landing smoke or runway lighting or taxiway lighting are coming to Infinite Flight. So
That's great,
Yes,
man.
we
That's
are
good
proud
stuff.
to announce though that there are finally runway numbers.
yes, surprise.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
and the Airbus 320 and 19 are coming, and 18.
They are.
Mhm.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
But in all seriousness, we do have a little sneak peek into something that's coming down the pipe, and this might not seem very exciting on the surface because you actually, if it's launched, you probably won't realize it at first. Well, some of you will, but this and let's just be clear, this isn't an official announcement. We don't know if this will be officially implemented or not, but we do have it on good authority that a new user rating system is being developed. And that's in terms of how your standing as a pilot is calculated. So we all know that it can be extremely frustrating. Let's say you have an event taking place, let's say the Friday night flight, with a very large number of aircraft on one field. It can get very congested and things are really fast paced. And then all it takes is that one person once in a while to request pattern work at a field that's not even accepting incoming traffic, let alone patterns. And it just jams everything up because currently, as we know, there's no command to issue a plain old takeoff after someone's requested to remain in the pattern unless you've got it in your shortcut menu. So, having said that, it can really just be boiled down to someone being a pretty good pilot, but having a really bad understanding of how event procedures or air traffic control work. So this new system's going to take a crack at helping us with taking into account more factors than just your XP and violations. So we can't say too much more about it other than that, but we're pretty excited about it on this end to see what could happen. A tip that you might want to follow if this gets implemented is just to keep yourself current as a pilot. That's a little hint. Just
and I think one thing that's important to say with all of this is that we want, from the controller's perspective, from the standpoint, I mean, we want to be able to provide the best possible experience for everyone, but we want everyone to also participate and to assist with that same pleasant experience. So, we want to provide the best ATC, but we also want our pilots to be on the same page as to what's going on, because you always have that one person who's going to spam the frequency or who's going to just not listen to anything and taxi through everybody. And so, we all have the same goal. And, I guess the biggest thing is that we just ask for everyone's patience and understanding as we do some dead reckoning, for a lack of better terms, to get to that common goal. So, there may be things implemented that may not work, that we have to revamp or whatever. So
it's not just on ATC. It's not just on pilots. I mean, we have to do our job to keep things organized and moving, but they have to do their job and follow our commands and what we're trying to say, or it's not ever going to work. So this is hopefully a way to, not only reward those pilots who do follow instructions, but maybe, add some accountability to those that don't as well.
Yeah. Well, guys.
There's definitely some good stuff coming up.
Do you guys have anything else for me that I don't know about?
Well, Joe and I don't know if we really need to talk about our announcement yet, Joe, do we?
No, I don't think so, Mark.
Because I think we had to basically start back with that one.
Yes, we did. We had to start over. Leaving the Facebook chat kind of put our announcement on hold. But we're
I think it's
there.
something that everybody's going to really, really like, and
yes.
I mean, it's something that will probably grow the community even more once it's released, and once we release our announcement, though. But
you guys are
it's a game changer.
You guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Game changer.
All right, well, you heard it on FlightCast. Game changer coming up from Joe and Mark at a undetermined time and date. Are we interrupting something there, Joe, or
no, not at all.
Something you want to share with the group? You making coffee or something over there?
No, I just almost got hit by a car. No big deal.
Oh, that might end up just being me and you, Mark.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Where'd Joe go? I think he's dead. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
No big deal.
Jason and Mark, and Joe was here.
May you rest in peace.
Joe just got his own wings. We're so proud.
Yes.
Wow. Well, guys, this has been really fun. Thanks for doing this.
Well, you needed something to do today, so we figured we'd help out. We're here for you, Jason. I mean,
I know what this is. I mean, don't fool. You're not fooling anybody. This is a bid for permanent co-hosts.
No.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
You ask
For Joe, it is. I know.
Well, maybe.
Hashtag co-host.
Yeah. Because Joe has nothing else to do during the day.
Nothing at all.
I mean, so he's got the time to be the co-host for you.
Joe's at work.
I'll just be the random special guest.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that wraps it up. I don't think we did it, and we managed to talk for an hour, and I don't think we broke the interwebs or anything.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, clearly, Joe is podcasting and driving, so that's probably a good time to wrap it up.
C-130. Yeah, I agree.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. If you haven't already, head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Infinite Flight. For more FlightCast, visit flightcast.audio. If you have some time, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast or review us on iTunes. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/FlightCastAudio and on Twitter at FlightCastAudio. If you have any ideas for FlightCast, please leave them in the comments. FlightCast is brought to you by Linkhouse Media on the web at linkhousemedia.com. And guys, podcasting takes some time and money, so if you have a few extra bucks, we would love it if you would consider donating to help keep us going strong. To donate, visit flightcast.audio and click on the yellow PayPal button in the sidebar. To cover the fine print, FlightCast is not affiliated with Infinite Flight or Flying Development Studio. I'm Jason Rosewell. Thanks for listening, and happy landings. That was the worst outro I've ever done.
Yeah, if you get an iTunes gift card, don't spend it on the A320. Put it toward FlightCast.
I gotta hook up a mechanism that lets people spend iTunes dollars on FlightCast. You've whoops. I can never get through that outro. It's ridiculous.
It took you an hour the last time we did this.
I guess I'll put it at the end and just keep that train rolling. Have you subscribed to the podcast or reviewed us on iTunes yet? I think you should.
No. Oh, sorry.
Wow, that was
that
rhetorical.
a question, or you?
Yeah, no, I thought he was asking us a question.
No,
I think we
I've not done any of that.
Yeah.
If you, every time, there's no if.
Hello.
Hello?
I know. It seemed like it just went dead there for a second.
Maybe it's still dead for Joe. Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. So did we catch you off guard?
Yes, I had no idea. Joe said, "Hey, something's gonna happen. Just roll with it." And then and then I set up the document, the Google document, and I can tell when people are looking at it. I'm like, "Dude, are you not even gonna look at that document?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I had a peek at it." Like, well, you gonna look at it? Like, I'm gonna call you in 2 minutes. Are you gonna look at it? Okay, or not?
I'm glad it's over though, because I've been having for about the past 30 minutes.
All right, I'll let you go. Thanks again, dude. That was awesome.
Man, not a problem. Enjoyed it, dude.
All right, see ya.
But C-130.